Welcome back to Gettin Buckets, episode 15. NFL, we did week one. We're on to week two. And so we're going to get into week two. As you guys can see, I got my guy Marlon with me. So he's going to be stopping in and doing this weekly show with me. But before we get into week two, make sure I hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, follow all the social media handles you see at the top of this page right here. Make sure y'all do that. Make sure y'all share. Make sure y'all like. See what I'm saying? But without further ado, we'll get into this show. What's going on, Marlon? How you doing?
Good, bro. You?
Yeah, man, I can't complain. The NFL is back. It was just great just being able to sit there for 8 hours and just watch football.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I ain't no working, no nothing. So it was great. You want to get on into it?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's start with some of our week one takeaways. What were some of your takeaways from week one?
Well, it's week one. You know, as a experienced NFL fan now, you don't really expect much from week one. So there's a lot of slow starts to games, a lot of turnovers, a lot of mistakes made by players. That's just a rust. They're not, a lot of the stars didn't play in the preseason, so they're all a little rusty. But other than that, I think it was a solid week one. We already got like a contender for game of the year, I think, in the Ravens Bills, and the Eagles. And we start off with the banger with the Eagles and Cowboys. So, and the Vikings Bears was even also a contender for a game of the year, I think, too, the way that game ended. But yeah, I think it was a good week one. Takeaways, I mean, if you want to go, do you want to go game by game?
We could do that if you want to.
So,
or we could just hit like specific games we want to talk about. Up to
all
you.
right, let's see. A game that I really enjoyed this week was Steelers-Jets. Super back and forth game. You didn't really know who was going to come on top at the end, but ultimately Aaron Rodgers pulled through. Jalen Ramsey pulled through too with that big hit he had on Garrett Wilson. And we saw that old Jalen Ramsey where he used to sing, talking shit, and, covering the best player on the other team like he did with Garrett Wilson. And yeah, I thought the Steelers did a great job. The Jets played great too. Hats off to the Jets. Just wasn't enough at the end of the day. I mean, those two teams, I think if they get right, I think they could be in the playoffs at the end of the year.
Yeah, that game to me was good as well. And it was good particularly for me because like those were the sleepers were my I don't know if you watched last week's episode, but the Steelers were my sleeper team.
Yeah.
And I said if the Steelers O-line can protect Aaron Rodgers, that they're gonna have a good chance of winning football games. Right. And he got sacked a couple times, but they held up enough to where he could still make plays outside of that. And you can see what that offensive potential could be. And for Justin Fields, I think that was as good of a week one as he could possibly have. I don't know if they're going to be good enough to make the playoffs this year, but I think that's a performance where you're like, okay, we got our quarterback. Because I think for them, it's like they signed Justin Fields, and I think their biggest thing was obviously they want to compete and possibly get into the playoffs. But at best they're going to be in the wild card because they're not going to beat out Buffalo in that division.
Yeah, and they showed that they could play against a good defense in the Steelers. I mean, they put up 30. So
yeah.
That itself already, you're putting up numbers against a good defense. And your team already has a good defense too. I mean, things are going right for the Jets. I think
Breece Hall look good.
They got a better coach now too. I think coaching has been a problem for the Jets for the last 10 years now.
Yep.
I don't think they've had a good coach since, Rex Ryan, if you want to say that?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They had Todd Bowles, who's a good coach. Their roster would just suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, Breece Hall looked good, but I want to go back. But yeah, that game was great. But you just mentioned they have a good coach now, Aaron Glenn. That takes me to another game, and it's the Lions and the Packers.
Yeah.
And one of my key takeaways that I had to write down because I couldn't not talk about it. But the Lions, bro, they got to figure, and it's week one, so you don't want to overreact. But if that was abysmal week one, offensively and defensively, they looked lost without both of their coordinators, and rightfully so. But it's like that bad. It wasn't like it was slightly lesser play from them that what they got. Like that was awful, both sides of the ball. So they're gonna have to figure that out sooner rather than later to win that division, especially because they're in a tougher division with the Vikings and the Packers, and the Packers look good now.
Yeah.
Again, you don't want to overreact to week one. So I'm anxious to see tomorrow's Thursday night game when they play the Commanders, the Packers, that is. Because I want to see if week one was more about the Packers really being that good, who I also said I think they were legitimate Super Bowl contenders after they traded for Micah Parsons. But I want to see if it was really if it was about the Packers being more dominant this year, or if it was about the Lions not being as good as we thought they would be.
Yeah. I think it's a mixture of both. From what I saw when the Ravens lost Mike McDonald and we continued with Zach Orr, it wasn't pretty and it still isn't pretty. So when you lose a great coordinator, it's going to affect, you know, that position a group in a big way. But yeah, the Packers look good. The Packers, Jordan Love looked really good. The receivers look good. Josh Jacobs look good. Their defense looked good too. Yeah, I think they could win it, win that division. Everything goes well for them. It's looking like it so far because the Vikings and the Bears, you know, I don't know if JJ McCarthy could go out there and just win a division right off the bat. And the Bears are still struggling, but I think it all depends on Caleb if he's going to get better and how he's going to perform in these like big moments like on Monday.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, for the Bears and the Vikings, I think they're both in like let's see where our quarterbacks are at and where they're going to be at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I think for the Vikings, they are hoping for a playoff spot. I think the Bears like obviously want to get into the playoffs, but I think they're more so trying to develop as a whole team. The Vikings are probably trying to get into the playoffs because they do have a pretty good roster. It's just about how good JJ can be. So there's a question mark there. But yeah, I think coming into the season, most people probably picked it was either you either had the Lions or you had the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's why I'm very interested to see both of them play week 2 because I want to see if was it just week 1 and the Lions came out flat and it was just one of
Yes.
those games, or was it the Lions really just like this is a sign of things to come for the rest of the season, because that was not a good look. They couldn't get anything going offensively or defensively.
Yeah.
So that was one of my takeaways. Another one happened. My other takeaway was for your favorite team, and his favorite team, by the way, is the Baltimore Ravens. And my biggest takeaway, it had nothing really to do with the roster of the players. It was John Harbaugh. And my takeaway was he plays scared way too often.
Mm-hmm.
He plays like through the first 3 quarters, they're dominant in a lot of games. They're dominant through a lot of games, and he takes his foot off the gas and he starts playing conservative. And they end up losing a lot of games late when they had double-digit leads or any kind of lead at all. They end up blowing them late because they take their foot off the gas, as you saw in that game. Like him not giving the ball to Lamar Jackson on 4th and 3 when your defense has given up 38 points at that point didn't make any sense. And it's just him like being conservative. And I think that's going to plague the Baltimore Ravens because it's plagued them for the last few years. They've been known to blow leads, and it's not because they can't win games. It's because he constantly takes his foot off the gas. So I want to know what you feel about John Harbaugh and the way he coaches down the stretch of game.
Yeah, I mean, John Harbaugh always been a great coach, but when it comes down to these moments in the clutch, we tend to suffer because of him. Whether it's going for like not going for it or going for it on times that we don't need to go for it. I think John Harbaugh has been the main issue with that. Obviously, Derrick Henry fumbled. That's on Derrick Henry at the end of the day. But yeah, it's the decisions that John Harbaugh ultimately takes that always kills us. You know, in my opinion, I think we should just keep putting your foot on the pedal. Why break? You're already up 15. Just keep on going. There's 8 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
You don't have to make that big play anymore, but just keep on driving down the field. That's all you have to do. And you have one of the best playmakers in the game, if not the best playmaker in the game. And then you have Derrick Henry, and you have a solid wide receiver group with Zay Flowers and D-Hop and Bateman now. So there's really no excuse for that now. Like you got to just keep going. And especially when you find out who's on the other side, you have Josh Allen on the other side. Like you have the other best playmaker in the game. So, I think I would have gone for it. I think most coaches in that situation go for it too, because the Bills are scoring. They weren't stopping.
They have 38.
Plus, even if you have to think about all the scenarios too, you have a rookie kicker on your side now. Let's say we do get the ball back with time and we drive down. Now you're putting the game into a rookie kicker's hands,
who's already missed the PAT.
And yeah, that was another thing too that killed us in the game too, in that PAT. Yeah. That's a classic Ravens. Over the years, we've blown so many leads. I think the last one we blown like that was against, I don't know if it was Cleveland or Miami. Miami was pretty big.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
We were up, I think, 20 something at half, and Miami ends up winning that game by like 2 or something. I don't remember, but
Yeah, but that's my thing. It's like as a coach, you got to be able to read the game. If
Mhm.
this was a game that was 17-14, where it's been a defensive game and you punt it away, okay, that makes sense because the defense has been playing well. In a game where you have 40 and the other team has 38, clearly there's no good defense being played either way. So why in the world would you kick the ball back over there when you're playing against Josh Allen? You're not playing against Bryce Young. You're not playing against Caleb Williams. You're playing against there's 4 elite quarterbacks in the NFL. There's Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, and Josh Allen. If you playing against one of them, I'd much rather lose giving the ball to my guy, especially and they have one of those guys. They have one of the elites. I'd much rather lose with Lamar Jackson making a play and Derrick Henry making a play than kicking the ball and letting my defense just not be able to stop anybody, which they haven't done all night. Like, I'm going to let my best player go and beat that guy. I'm not giving the ball back to Josh
yeah,
Allen to go beat
yeah,
me.
yeah. No, as a Ravens fan, I'm used to this, and I hate to say it, but yeah, I think this is John Harbaugh. If we don't produce anything other than a Super Bowl this year, I think it's wraps for him. As much as I love John Harbaugh, I think he's got to go.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, yeah, I agree. I think this is definitely a year he's gonna have to prove something because for me, he like when it gets to the big games, for some reason, it's like the team comes out unprepared. They start making sloppy mistakes. And it's like it's some that has to do with coaching. You got to make sure your guys are prepared, and you got to make smart decisions.
Yeah,
Another takeaway I had from week 1 was that Rams and Texans game. The Texans need a wide receiver too.
yeah. They couldn't get anything going on offense. It was pretty sad to see. But the Rams do have a good defense. I do like the Rams
But
defense.
not they don't have a good secondary.
Yeah, that the secondary questionable,
And they
but
have Nico Collins. The problem is the Texans don't have anybody but Nico Collins, especially with Joe Mixon hurt. So we're just going to double and triple team Nico and somebody else go beat us. And Christian Kirk is hurt. They have to go get a wide receiver too. And
and
with
they need
with the
Tank.
possibility of Tyreek being traded, I think Tyreek would be a perfect candidate to end up in Houston. You put him next to Nico Collins, and he can stretch the field and let Nico play underneath. And while Nico can also stretch the field at times, that's a weapon you need because I feel like one that O line still has not improved for the Texans. That O line is still pretty
That O
bad.
line is terrible. That O
Granted,
line
the
is
Rams do have a good D line, but
yeah.
that O line looked atrocious. But they got to get somebody else to go next to Nico because without Tank Dell, there's nobody else to occupy attention. So it's going to be hard for you to force feed Nico the
Yeah,
ball because the entire defensive attention is on Nico, and you don't have no run game because
yeah.
Joe Mixon is gone.
That game should have been a blowout in favor of the Rams, but the Texans defense showed up for them too.
Well, and that's my thing. Like the Texas defense is elite. Like they have definitely on paper that defense is elite. So it's like if you the offense and you would assume the offense would be the strong point. You got CJ, you got Nico, but you got to have you. And they just put Caden Stover, their starting tight end, on IR. So they have to go get another weapon. That was one of my big takeaways because they just couldn't get in. That game was there for them to take in, and even still, they had the ball driving before Ogunbowale fumbled. They had a chance to win that game as bad as they were playing. So imagine if they had another receiver next to him, like a Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, yeah. They need to go out there and get somebody. But I don't know when's Tank Dell supposed to come back.
I don't think he's going to play this year.
Yeah, damn, that sucks. Yeah, I guess they would have to go get another weapon. Yeah, I mean, see if the Dolphins are in it to
Now
trade
they
Ty.
like they did try because they went and got Christian Kirk. He's hurt right now. But even Christian Kirk, I think they still need a little bit better of a number 2 receiver than Christian Kirk.
They also they let go of Mechie, right?
Yeah, they traded him to Philly.
Yeah, I think they should have kept Mechie.
So they need a wide receiver too there, and they got to figure it out fast because I
They
just
got
don't
the
know how many
rookie,
games they're going to be able to win.
and yeah, they're relying on a rookie receiver too, other than
Yeah,
Nico.
and they're relying on a Nick Chubb that's coming off of obviously the ACL, and then he had the broken foot. So this is not Nick Chubb from 2020, 2021. This is older. So like they've got to go get offensive pieces, and they got to go make it happen now.
Yeah, and I don't know. The Texans historically just don't make good decisions either.
Yeah, but this time, like, they got CJ. CJ fell in their lap. Like,
Yeah.
you have Nico. The defense is built incredibly. You got Daniil Hunter. You got Will Anderson. You got Derek Stingley. So you have the defense, like I said, is elite. They're going to be a top 3 to 5 defense in the NFL. But you have to go, like, the offense has to be able to go get points. And I just don't believe that offense, especially with that O line. I don't know if you're going to be able to get points because even when he does have time, even the time that you do give him at times, he's going to look for Nico, but like the defense knows that, and there's nobody else that can help Nico out. So I think they definitely gonna need a problem. You got any more week 1 takeaways? I think I hit all mine.
I want to talk about the Patriots Raiders too. I think that was a good game to watch. The Raiders started off slow. The Pats started off pretty solid too, but then that second half was all Raiders. But I really like seeing Pete Carroll with the Raiders. I think they're a much improved side. Genty looked good. Gino, I think he threw a pick, but other than that, he was pretty solid. Bowers was good. Their defense was solid too. I think Drake May has to polish up a little bit, but I think the Patriots could also be something good too this year. But granted, it's week 1. I think the Raiders could shock a lot of people in that division too. You know,
That that
it always seems to be close with the Chiefs. They have sometimes their way. They always like split with the Chargers. The Broncos, I feel like as of late they were beating the Broncos, but now that the Broncos have a great team, who knows? But yeah, I think the Raiders could shock a lot of people in that division.
but I think that's gonna be their problem is that division. Like I think like for me. So taking the Patriots, I had the Patriots at 7 wins. They won like 3 last year, so I did have them improving pretty greatly from last year. I still don't think they're gonna make the playoffs, but I had them improving by 2 times the wins that they had last year.
Yeah.
Um, but for the Raiders, I think the problem with the Raiders is I'm pretty sure their schedule is tougher, and their problem is they got to play in a division with the Chargers. They got to play with They got to play against Herbert, against Bo Nix, against Mahomes. But that's going to be their problem. Like they got to fight just in their division, let alone the rest of the teams they play. Like I'm gonna pull up their schedule.
I think it's going to come down to how good their defense is. I don't think their offense is going to be the problem, but
So on their schedule, look, they got to play a Charge. Obviously, we know Chargers twice, Chiefs twice, the Broncos twice, but they got the Commanders on their schedule. They got the Cowboys on their schedule. They got the Eagles on their schedule. They have the Texans. Even as we just talked about the Texans, but I believe the Texans are still a better team than them. They should be able to beat them. Um, we're gonna see. We'll see how many wins they do have some easy. They do have some easier ones though because they do have the Giants. That's a very winnable game.
they have the Browns, the Jags,
The
and
Browns,
the
the Jags.
Colts. You could even
Yeah, so they have some winnable games. The Jags one's going to be interesting because the Jags on paper they're a better team, but you never know with same with the Bears. You never know with those kind of teams what performance you're going to get. On paper they're better than the Raiders, but you never know what you're going to get.
but yeah.
I think for the Raiders they're another team. They do have Brock Bowers, but I think they need another outside weapon.
Jacoby Myers looked good too. I forgot to mention Jacoby Myers.
But Jacoby Myers is good. I just think he's more of a complement receiver.
Yeah, I think he's a good wide receiver too. I don't think
Yeah,
he's
he's a complement receiver. So I think they need they're hoping Thornton, Dante, I think it's Dante Thornton. They're hoping he's going to be like that. They need somebody that can scare defenses down the field. So I think they're hoping he's going to be that guy. And Ashton Genty, he's got to be a little more efficient because I think
yeah.
offense is going to have to keep him in
Yeah.
games because I don't think that defense is good enough against the good teams. So I think Ashton Genty's. Let's see, what was Ashton Genty's stat line? He had 19 carries for 38 yards. That's 2 yards a carry. So he's got to be better than that. They're going to need more. They're going to need more from that. And obviously, that's just not him. Like the O line got to give him more running lanes.
Yeah. He was pretty good.
But yeah, they're gonna need more. They're gonna need a little bit more out of that. Another takeaway was the Miami Dolphins for me. But we're gonna take that into this next portion. So I have our next portion. We're doing trending up, trending down. Our teams that are trending in the right direction after week 1, teams that are trending in the wrong direction after week 1. I'm gonna start with some of my teams that I think are trending in the wrong direction. Since I just brought them up, I had the Dolphins are one of my teams. I have the Dolphins, the Texans, and the Lions. Those teams are trending in the wrong direction for me. Taking the Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa. Can somebody tell me why the Miami Dolphins have paid this man? What has he done to earn? I want his contract numbers. I think he got like $250 million. I want to know I
Tua
want to
turned.
know what he's done in his NFL football career that deserved 250 million. Because I think that's what he got. Because he came out yesterday and he had 3 turnovers before the game was in, like, before I can even turn over and change the game. I looked up. I'm checking my fantasy scores. This dude got 3 turnovers.
Yeah. Shit, if any NFL football team needs me to throw picks for 250 mil, I'm right here, bro.
That's what I said. I said with his performance, I could have went out there. Y'all could have paid me 1 million, let alone the 250 you paying him, and I could have went out there and thrown 3 picks. I could do that easily. Let me see. Let's see what he got.
Yeah, for him to have, if it's 250 M's, let's just go over some of his stats in 5 years in the NFL. 15,000 passing.
Hold on. He got a 4-year extension for 212 million with 167 guaranteed.
That's crazy, bro.
To go out there and have 3 picks before halftime. He scored 8 points against the Indianapolis Colts. He got outplayed by Daniel Jones. Come on, now.
That's crazy.
He had Daniel Jones out there looking like Tom Brady. Daniel Jones scored on every possession that he had the football. Can somebody tell me when Daniel Jones has ever been good in the NFL? And he looked, like I said, he looked 10 times better than what Tua Tagovailoa looked like. And then another thing that pissed me off, his post-game interview, and he want to get mad because somebody said he turned the ball over in bunches. What do you call it when you turn the ball over 3 times? And this ain't the first time you've done it. He's turned the ball over multiple times on a lot of occasions. So he definitely turns the ball over in bunches. And he just can't take accountability. And that's what pisses me off, because he did all that talking about Tyreek taking accountability. And sure, if you want to say Tyreek have to take accountability, sure. The only thing he said in the media was that I can't win here. And the reason he said that is because of Tua. He can't win because of Tua. Because Tua, either he's hurt or he's throwing interceptions. So you want to tell Tyreek he's got to take accountability, you take accountability. Because everybody knows when Tyreek get on the field, if you can give him the ball, he's going for $150 and a touchdown if you can get it to him. The problem is Tua ain't been able to get him the ball in about it.
Yeah. Abysmal numbers for Tua, too, to have a contract that big.
That's what I'm saying. They did the exact. Speaking of Daniel Jones, that's what the Giants did to Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has never played good, and he played good for 6 games and got them into the playoffs, won a playoff game, and they paid him as if he had been doing that. They disregarded the entire 4 or 5 seasons before that, and even the first half of the season before that. They took 6 games and a playoff win and was like, "Oh, we're going to pay him," and then they had to get rid of him the next year. Like, come on, man, we can't take small instances over the entire body of work. When you have a 4 or 5 year body of work, it's like, let's take what we've seen over and over again rather than what we've seen in a 6-game stretch. Because if I've played 50 games and you're only going to take 6 games of that, I'm pretty sure everybody should be able to get paid for doing that.
Tua, I don't know. They need to change that culture in Miami too. I think it's time to get a new coach. It seems like they're trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. They should just blow it up. Honestly, they should just rebuild and blow it up.
Oh, they're going to. I commented on this on my TikTok, and a lot of the Dolphins fans were commenting bro, they're tired of Tua, they're tired of Mike McDaniel, they're tired of the GM, they're tired of all of them, and I can't blame them because as I said, why would the GM pay him? Also another problem, the owner, Stephen Jones, they had Brian Flores before Mike McDaniel. Brian Flores suggested they draft Justin Herbert. The owner said, I want Tua Tagovailoa.
That's crazy.
Look how that ended up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been, 3.5 years of mediocrity in Miami. They get to the playoffs, but once they get to the playoffs, nothing happens. It's
because they can't. It's the cold. Unless they have home field advantage, they can't win because they can't play in cold.
And they can't get home field advantage because the Bills are always on top.
Yep. The Bills are always winning that division. And even if they happen to win the division, they still got to have a better record than Baltimore or the Chiefs or the Bengals. Like, they got to have a better record than one of these teams. And that's far from likely. So it's just, and so they always got to go somewhere cold and play. And Stephen A. Smith, he loves bringing up that cold thing, but it really is true. Like when the Dolphins since they acquired Tyreek, they've been very good to start the season. And then as the season gets later and it gets colder, they can win at home, but they can't win on the road because it gets cold and they're playing in temperatures they're just not used to playing in, and they just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they're one of my biggest losers of the week, because that was a ridiculous performance against Daniel Jones, bruh. Daniel Jones put up 30 something and scored on every drive. He mustered up 8. Tua got 8 points, and he did that on a garbage time touchdown.
Yeah, that's really sad to see from Miami, honestly. To lose to, Daniel Jones, who wasn't even supposed to be the starter, who beat out AR for the job. But yeah, I think it's unacceptable for them to be paying a guy that much and to lose a game like that. It's like, come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's like bad games happen to anybody. Josh Allen can have a bad game. Lamar can have a bad game. Mahomes can
This
have a
is
bad game.
this isn't the first time Tua has done this.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going. This is not the first. This is a reoccurring theme for Tua.
Yeah,
Either he's hurt with the concussion, or or he's having bad games. He'll have one good game in the midst of like a 3 or 4 bad game stretch, and he'll have one good game, and then or two good games, and then he'll follow it up with another 1 or 2 bad games. And it's like, bro, you can't to be making 212 million with 100 and I forgot what the number was guaranteed. It was like 170 or whatever it was guaranteed. It's like, bro, they're paying you to be him, and bro, you ain't him. You her right now. Like, come on, dog.
Tua turned the ball over. He earned that nickname.
We turned the ball over. Yeah, so they were one of my losers. The Texans we talked about, and the Lions, which we already talked about. You had any more losers?
The losers, I would say pretty much I agree with all of them. I'll try to see if I had any other team. I would say the Chiefs. The Chiefs haven't started off a season 0-1 in how many years?
Yeah.
And now that your division is a lot tougher now, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, for me, I think like I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt because they've been so great for so long. But if they go down 0-2, then they're gonna start creeping into this conversation because they got the Eagles this week, so they can definitely go down. And the only reason I'm saying that they're gonna be trending in that the losers category is because they go down 0-2 in that division. It's gonna be hard to make up. This is not the AFC West of 4 or 5 years ago when they were easily dominating it. Like either one of I don't think the Raiders can, but I think any of the Broncos, Chargers, or Chiefs can win that division. And if they go down 0-2, if they go down 0-2 and the Broncos and Chargers start 2-0, I don't know if they're going to be able to catch them.
Yeah, I mean they have the benefit of playing them twice a year, but I mean
that means you have to win both of those games, and because you're going to start in an 0-2 hole, and that's not to mention the rest of the good teams. Like I'm pretty sure the Chiefs got to play the Ravens. And let's see. Let's look at the Chiefs schedule.
they would have to play the Bills since they also won the division.
Yeah, I'd assume they play the Bills. So like, and that's what I'm saying. You start in an 0-2 hole, and they've already lost to the Chargers once.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's gonna be a tough year for the Chiefs. I mean, we all know Mahomes is Mahomes, but as of late, Mahomes hasn't really looked like Mahomes either.
they got So they play the Eagles this week. They have the Ravens in 2 weeks. They play the Lions in like week 6. So we'll see if the Lions have like turned it around by then. If the Lions have turned it around by then, that's a tough game. They got the Commanders against Jaden Daniels. That's a tough game. They got to play the Bills. We know the Broncos twice. They got the Cowboys in Dallas. There's the Texans. We'll wait and see how that looks. So and they got the Broncos twice. So they have a tough thing. So they got tough teams they got to play. So falling into an 0-2 hole, it's gonna be hard for them. And if they fall into that wild card, it'll be very interesting to see in the playoffs because then granted, we know Mahomes can go beat people in their house in the playoffs anyway because Mahomes has proven he's that guy. But it'll be interesting to see when he's going to be on the road for every game. Can he go and no bye? He's going to have to go on the road every single game and win 3 games. You got to win the wild card divisional and the AFC Championship game. That'll be something different that he's not really accustomed to. So it'll be very interesting to see. And which is why I think if they lose this week, it's going to be something. It's going to be some. And here's the thing too. In a couple of those games, Rashee Rice, I don't think Rashee Rice is going to be there for the Ravens game. I don't think Rashee Rice is going to be. He's obviously not going to be here for the Eagles game. And I think his last game of the suspension is against the Lions, so they won't have Rashee Rice for any of those games. Xavier Worthy's got hurt. They're going to hope he's back by one of those games. So they're already dealing with a couple of injuries on top of them being in a 0-1 hole, possibly 0-2 if they lose to the Eagles, which they very well could.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And I don't know, a lot of their players just don't look the same. Kelsey doesn't look the same. Their defense, their defense has always been weird to me. Like, they'll allow yards, but they never really allowed points. But obviously, Chargers put up 27 on them. So But it's week one. Can't really overreact to.
Yeah, you can't overreact yet.
But yeah, I didn't like the way they looked at all, especially coming back from that big ass Super Bowl L. You want to come back and make a statement again.
I picked them last week simply because of that. Like I picked like most of the games I picked because of like I have a X and O reason. I picked that game solely because I felt because of that ass whooping they took, like they were going to be determined to come in and like prove a point and have a message for the Chargers. And it just didn't happen. It would have been very if Chris Jones didn't lose contain, they probably would have got the ball back. It would have been very interesting because as even though they lost, they still like I said, if Chris Jones doesn't lose contain, Mahomes probably gets the ball to go get a touchdown to go win that game at the end. And we know Mahomes is as good as it gets at leading those drives currently in the NFL.
And if they go 0-2, that'll be 3 straight O's.
Yeah.
Like, when was the last time the Chiefs lost 3 straight?
Yeah, I don't know. Last time the Chiefs lost 3 straight. So yeah, we're gonna check. We'll check back in next week after this week 2. I had a couple of winners as well. We talked about the Steelers already. We talked about the Packers. We've kind of mentioned them, but I haven't really spoke about them. The LA Chargers. They were one of my winners. Justin Herbert looked fantastic.
Yeah, he did.
We've been looking to see like Justin Herbert. We know he has all the talent, but can he put it together? Especially in the playoffs. Now, all the playoff games aren't his fault, so I don't put everything on him. Last year, that one, it's hard not to put on him because he had like 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
So that one's kind of hard not to like say Justin Herbert had a very big impact in that one. The other one, they were up like 27-0 and blew it. So yes, you could say he needed to add like he could have scored again, but like he did put up 27. So like at some point the defense got to get a stop because they were up like 27-0. But they look great offensively. They look great defensively. They look great. John Harbaugh got those boys like listening. I mean, I think Jim Harbaugh. He's one of the better coaches in the NFL as well. So he got those boys rocking. The only thing that's going to matter to them is can they piece it together and do this in the playoffs? Because this is also one game, so we can't overreact. But also, I think Keenan Allen was a great pickup for them.
Mm-hmm. He was.
Because to me, I don't think Keenan has lost anything. I don't think Keenan has really lost a step at all. I just think he was playing with Caleb last year, and so the numbers dipped. So then people are like, oh, he fell off. I don't think that's really what happened because he still produced even last year because he still had 700-800 yards. And I think had he been in a better offense, he would have hit 1,000 and probably
there's also
6-7 touchdowns.
He was also sharing the rock with like DJ Moore.
Yeah. So and I think so. I think both of those guys are good compliments. Him and Ladd are good compliments, and you have guys like Quentin Johnston that can kind of hit over the top. All he got to do is catch the ball, which in week 1, luckily he has caught the ball. So they got weapons. They got Omar, got Hampton. He looked good. So those are my winners. You got any more winners?
We mentioned the Packers, right?
Yeah, mention the Packers. You can speak more about them, but yeah, because I had the Packers and Steelers as well, but we talked about them a little bit already, so don't need to bore the people with that.
I think the biggest winners or one of the biggest winners is the Bucks. The Bucks, they're the only team that won in their division, and their division, besides maybe the Falcons, could compete with them, but the other two I don't think can compete. So just starting off in the right foot, it just makes it easier for them to make it to the playoffs, and I think it should be a clean sweep for them in that division. Yeah, I don't think they have any obstacles really in that division either. So I think the Bucks are a big winner.
Yeah, I think their division is going to allow them to easily get into the playoffs. They're going to have I think they're going to have that division spot. So they're going to be one of the first 4. Another one, they didn't win their game, but I like what I saw from them was the Dallas Cowboys. I like what I saw from the Cowboys. They looked better coached in that one game that I've ever seen them coached with Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think they're a winner from last week because if CD catches the ball, they probably win that game. But that was my thing. I'm like, how good is a Schottenheimer going to be? And he looked. I wasn't the biggest fan of. I felt like they always were undisciplined and poorly coached with Mike McCarthy, and I didn't get that sense with Brian Schottenheimer. They looked like an actual well-oiled machine, especially on offense. And the defense kind of picked up after the delay. They didn't have an answer for the Eagles before the delay. So we'll see if that defense can play how they did after the delay for an entirety of a game without, delays in it. But they just looked way better coached. And I think that's going to set them ahead. The problem is I don't think they're going to win their division. I think they're the 3rd best team because of their defense in their own division. But That's not to say 3 teams from that division couldn't make it. I just think they do have a tall task because Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, they're gonna have something to say. And I think both of those teams are more complete teams on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think it's gonna. They have a shot, but it's gonna be an uphill battle for them for sure all year. I think their ceiling is gonna be like maybe like a 11-6, 10-7.
I think I projected them 10-7.
And I think their floor is like a 8-9.
They got to stay
Around.
healthy. Everybody on offense has to stay healthy because I think that the offense is going to have to carry that defense more because they don't have a pass rusher. That was their biggest problem against the Eagles. So they had no Micah Parsons because they couldn't get any pressure. Those are mine. Those are our winners. Some of our losers. Now we got our Gettin Jiggy award, bruh. Who was getting jiggy this week, Marlon?
Who was getting jiggy? Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers was getting jiggy, dog.
Yeah, he had a really good game. That whole game had a lot of dudes getting jiggy, bro. Derrick Henry, Lamar, Josh Allen. You know, that's what you want to see. Keon Coleman. You know, the stars ball out. That's what we want to see every week. Those guys balled out. Besides in that game, I mean, on
Also,
defense.
Just before we change from that game, because my Getting Jiggy award went to Derrick Henry, because that boy, he was that big right there. Bro.
It just sucks that he fumbled, but I mean,
it's like that he fumbled. But that boy, he had 18 carries for like a $170 and 2 tugs.
Yeah,
that boy was going crazy. And I was watching with Jordan's little cousin, and he was like, "Does Derrick Henry look faster?" I said, "That he low key do look faster."
I mean, yeah, that dude's work regimen is crazy, bro. Like running up hills all the time, and he's like 31 now.
Dude, that dude is like 200. That dude, I think they list him at 240. That dude is legitimately 260, I think. And like in shape 260. And he's running and he runs that and like the corners can't catch him.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
like he outruns angles at that size. Like that's insane. Outrunning an angle at his size. That should be left to the Tyreeks, the Xavier Worthies. He outrunning angles at 6'4", 260.
It's insane. But yeah, that game had a lot of people. I mean, you mentioned Herbert. Seen Puka. Puka was balling. I mean, crazy to say this. I mean, CD dropped so many balls. He still had a great game.
He still had 100 yards. If he had caught those passes, he would have had close to 200.
But those are just the guys on offense. On defense, I said Jalen Ramsey earlier. I'm going to stick to Jalen Ramsey, bro. Oh, my God. That dude looked like Jalen Ramsey again.
I think he's more motivated again. He's on a team that he believes that can actually win. When you're on a team that you believe like actually has a chance, it just gives you a little more motivation than you already got. On defense, Myles Garrett, that boy's a man amongst boys.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett, he's something special. That boy right there is something special.
Yeah, Jalen was covering Garrett Wilson the whole game too, and Garrett Wilson couldn't do shit.
I love corners that travel. The thing about when you talk about a corner getting jiggy, a guy like Pat Surtain, the problem with Pat Surtain is he'll never have no stats because ain't nobody gonna throw at him because ain't nobody open. He got people in boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Strapped up. So they be getting jiggy. But yeah, those are our Getting Jiggy Player of the Week award nominees. Let us know who y'all think was the best player of the week from
who wasn't getting jiggy.
Who wasn't getting jiggy? Who didn't have good games?
Jair Alexander.
Oh yeah, he for sure wasn't getting jiggy. That boy right there was getting.
Hopefully he picks it up, but maybe the Packers were onto something, cutting him.
Who else? Yeah, who else didn't have a good game? Let me look at this.
Already.
I mean, none of Cincinnati. Jamar only had like 20 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
But they always start like that week 1 and 2. They're always like trash week 1 and 2.
You know what? I saw this thing. It was like the average top. I mean, I guess top 12 fantasy picks. I think only 4 or 5 scored over 20.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, a couple of them was right under because like not Jamar, but like Saquon had like 18, so he was like right under. CD had like 18, so he was right under. But yeah, only like Bijan Gibbs wasn't getting jiggy. He had like 10 catches for like 25 yards.
Yeah.
And his rushing, I don't think he had like 30 yards rushing. So he was stifled. Bijan went crazy.
Yeah, Bijan, Derrick Henry.
JJ scored.
Puka.
He didn't have a lot of yards, but he had a touchdown. He had like 450 and a touchdown. Amon-Ra
Yeah,
didn't have a great game. Nico didn't have a great
they
game.
involved JJ way too late in that game too.
Yeah. Well, I just think it coincided with JJ. That's when JJ McCarthy got going late in the game. It took him because through the first 3 quarters, he had the 1 pick 6 and he had like 50 yards passing.
Yeah,
With 3 quarters. And then when he finally got going, you saw it was to JJ. JJ got going.
yeah.
So I chalked that up as that. But yeah, it wasn't a super explosive week. Obviously, Josh Allen, he was getting jiggy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let us know. Let me know who was getting jiggy, y'all. Let us know. Let us know.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're gonna hit our week 2 predictions. All right. All right. So I got the first game, our Thursday night game, Commanders at Packers. I'm gonna get the spread for you right now. We got Commanders at Packers, and let's see. It's Green Bay minus 3.5. So you get 3 points for being at home. It's pretty much a kind of a pick 'em pretty much anyway.
I got the Commanders in that one.
I went Packers. I went Packers because I think because
I know it's in Green Bay, but
yeah, that's why I'm going Packers. I went Packers simply because they more so are at home. But I think it's going to be a good game. But when I think it's going to be a close game, nip and tuck, I always lean home team.
yeah,
Because they can get that crowd advantage.
I think I like Jaden Daniels in primetime games. I don't think he's lost in a primetime game.
I don't think so either.
I think he's meant for like the big moments, and I think
Unless
he always
count like playoffs, but
yeah, I wouldn't count play. I'm saying like Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday.
I don't think he's lost either.
So I think he's meant for the big moments. I think he always shows out. So I think that's why I'm leaning towards more the Commanders. And I don't know. I'm not gonna say the Packers were a fluke week 1, but I think the Commanders are just a better molded team too on both sides.
I think this is going to be a tougher game for the Packers than it was against the Lions.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. I actually have both quarterbacks on my fantasy team, so I got both of them. So I hope it's a shootout. I hope it's like the Buffalo Ravens game, and it's a high 30, possibly 40 type game.
Yeah.
Next game, we got Rams at Titans. I'm going with the Rams.
Yeah, Sam. Should be easy for the Rams. I don't think they should struggle at all in this game.
Yeah, they have the Rams favored by 5.5, and they're on the road. So that's really so they're kind of favored by like 8 points, 8.5.
Although I will say if the Rams don't get clicking on offense, it will be a lot closer than what should be because the Titans do have a solid defense. It's just their offense.
Yeah,
we the big question mark with
even the offense though looked good. Calvin really had a couple of drops against the Broncos. If he didn't have a couple of those drops, it would have been. Granted, they were down 8, so they would have had to got a touchdown and a 2-point conversion because they were down.
It could be a trap game, but realistically, the Rams should blow them out.
I don't think it's going to be a trap game. I think it's hard to have trap games like this early in the season. I don't like once we start getting like week 6, 7, 8. Now you can have a trap game. All right now, especially coming off if they had just blown out the Texans, maybe, but
yeah.
Because they did struggle in the Texans, I think they're going to be on high alert in this one for sure. Next game, we have Jags at Bengals.
Bengals should take this one. I wouldn't say easily, but I think it'll be close. I think it depends on how well Trevor Lawrence plays, though. Are we going to get like a Trevor Lawrence that could keep up with Joe Burrow?
Are we going to get Joe Burrow that plays in December, or are we going to get Joe Burrow that starts the first 2 weeks?
That's the thing, too. Yeah. Joe Burrow is notorious for starting off slow in the season, right? So,
they had 7 yards of offense against the Browns in week 1 in the second half.
But I think they're too good to have a bad week again, especially Jamar.
Well, that's going to be interesting because they said Travis Hunter is going to play more corner this week than he played last week. So I want to see if they're going to have him follow Jamar Chase.
Yeah, that'll be fun to watch.
So that's going to be very interesting. But yeah, I got the Bengals as well.
I think, I wouldn't say comfortably, but for sure it should be a close one.
They have the Bengals at 3.5 at home. So it's kind of a pick 'em. It's a pick 'em again because of how the Bengals play typically. Next, we have Browns at Ravens.
This is another one. I think it's tough because the Ravens notoriously struggle against division rivals.
This is what I would say. I'd say if they had won that game against Buffalo, maybe they're going to come out. They're going to mash the Browns because they're going to be pissed off that they lost week 1.
It's going to be at home,
and it's at home.
Yeah, I think, but for some reason, the Browns just want to play great against the Ravens. I'm gonna say the Ravens though, just obviously a little bit of bias in me, but
They
I don't
have
think
the they have the
it'll be.
Ravens minus 11.5. I'm going, and
I think it'll
I'm
be.
taking the over. Lamar and Derrick Henry finna go in there, and they go. I'm telling you that. Like I said,
I think it'll
I'd
be a.
feel a little differently if they didn't beat if they had to beat Buffalo because they lost. They're gonna have full of. They're gonna be trying to come out here and make a message.
I think it'll be a lot closer than that. Maybe I'll say one score touchdown.
No, I think they're gonna cover. I think they're gonna beat them by 12 or more. I mean,
All
you
right,
never
fair.
know, like a BS end of game touchdown the Browns might get, but I think it's gonna be a comfortable win for the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ravens too, but I don't think it's gonna be a blowout like you say.
Yeah, I think they're gonna mash those boys. The next game we have Bills at Jets. All right, Bills at Jets. Who you taking?
Jets, but I think it'll be closer than most people think. I like how the Jets looked in week one, how they played against the Steelers. Obviously, the Bills had a great week one on offense, but they couldn't really do, besides like the Ed Oliver play, they couldn't really do anything on defense. So I think it'll be close, but regardless, I think I still got the Bills, but I think it'll be a lot closer than people think.
It's Bills minus 6.5. I think that's gonna cover. I think the only way the Jets can stay within this game, I think Brees Hall, Braylon Allen, they got to have a crazy run game. I don't know if Sean McDermott's just gonna, especially because he plays a lot of two shell. I'm not sure he's just gonna let, like he's gonna have a good plan for Justin Fields to that Justin Fields is gonna have to figure out. And I'm not sure they got enough. If they can't run the ball, they won't be able to get him out of two shell. So they've got to run the ball to do that, like the Ravens did week one. So I'm rolling with the Bills, and I think they're going to probably win very decisively, unless Brees Hall and Braylon Allen have something to say. Next game, we have Patriots at Dolphins.
This is a good one. Man, I think both teams need a win desperately here. A lot of people had high hopes for the Patriots coming into the season, at least to improve what they were last year with Drake May, still developing. And the Dolphins need this win based off last week. That was a terrible performance. I think overall, as a team, they need that dub. It's just who wants it more. I think I'm going to go with the Dolphins here. Wait, where's it at actually?
It's in Miami.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I still don't think it's going to be pretty for them, but I think they barely scratch by and get the dub. And who knows? I mean, if they don't get the dub, I think it's over for them. I think they do end up trading Tyreek, but I think I'm gonna go with the Dolphins on this one, just by a little bit.
I'm taking the Dolphins because I think they simply have to win. Because I think this thing is, if they start 0-2, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of talk in the media, within that Miami locker room. Somebody going to be gone, whether it's Tyreek, whether it's whatever. I don't think they're going to fire Mike McDaniel this early in the season.
Yeah,
but if they start 0-2 and they end up being 1-5, 1-6, I can easily see Mike McDaniel getting fired. They already paid Tua, so they're stuck with him. But I can see Mike McDaniel getting fired. I can see Tyreek being traded. They've already kind of started with like cleaning house. They got rid of Ramsey. They got rid of Jonnu Smith. So they've kind of already started that process. And so if they go down 0-2, I think it's just going to start speeding up that process even more. You're going to see Tyreek in a new uniform before the deadline. So I think they have to win this game, or bad things going to happen for that organization. Next game, 49ers at Saints. We just got news that it's very likely Brock Purdy will miss this game. He could maybe miss more games, but it's possible Brock Purdy misses this game.
Well, with that news coming out, I mean, it makes it a lot closer. Based on the personnel, I'm still going to go with the 49ers. I think just on both sides of the ball, they clear. Even without Brock Purdy, I think they should get the job done. And yeah, I'm going to go with the Niners. I don't trust the Saints yet. And I think it's going to be a while until we start trusting the Saints. They're got a new coach, new system, new quarterback. It didn't look pretty against the Cardinals either. Their defense does have some people that like stick out and stuff, but I just can't see them beating the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, it is in New Orleans. There's no Kittle. It looks like there's no Brock Purdy. But I'm still going to take the Niners. I don't think I'll pick the Saints to win any game this year.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Saints.
I think when I did my projection, I think I had them at like 3 wins. So obviously it's any given Sunday, so they can win any game. Now with Brock Purdy, no Kittle, this is one of the more winnable games for them. But I'm still not going to pick them. I still believe they got enough. The Niners defensively, they got enough. Obviously, I think they can hold that offense in check. And then the backup to Brock Purdy is Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones can do enough to get a W over that Saints team because that Saints team just doesn't have much talent on its roster. So I'm running with the 49ers. Next game, Giants at Cowboys.
That's going to be a good one too. Another was a division rivalry game. That one they usually split every year. It's in Dallas, you said?
It is in Dallas.
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I think they got it there. They had a good week against the Eagles despite the loss. Giants, they were at home. They played all right, but I'm gonna just go with the Cowboys. Same thing based off the personnel they have. I think they just have the better players out there in Dallas, and I think that's gonna ultimately win the game for them.
Yeah, I'm running with the Cowboys. Simply, Russ, there's nothing left for Russ, bro. Like, I have no faith in him. I'm surprised teams are still like signing him to play football. Like, for me, my thing about the Giants is when are we going to get to see Jackson Dart? Because I feel like at some point, when all things are equal, it's one thing to play Russell Wilson if he felt he had a good chance of winning you games. I don't think his ability to win games is much higher, if higher at all, than what Jackson Dart is. So,
I mean, if they start off 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, why not start him? You already got a losing record. What do you have to lose at that point?
So,
develop your future QB.
Yeah, so I don't see much progress. Like, it was all that let Russ cook a couple years ago. Well, ain't nobody want that dish no more. You can keep that where it's at.
Yeah.
So I'm running with the Cowboys. They're -5.5, and I'm taking them. Granted, the Giants' defense is good, and they have neighbors. They got Tyrone Tracy. They got Cam Scatterbo, but it's just Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I just zero faith in that dude.
Comes down to Russ. Yeah.
Next game, Bears at Lions.
Bears-Lions, I think should be a comfortable win for the Lions. I think they'll bounce back. I think that week one, I don't think that's the new version of them. I think they're still going to be good. They still have the talent around the roster. Still got good coaching in Dan Campbell. The Bears choked, obviously. You're on the losing side of that. Morale tends to go down. And I think for the Lions, it's only up from here. I'm going to go with the Lions.
Yeah, I'm also going with the Lions. I think this is also a must-win game for them. As I said earlier, they go down 0-2 in this division. It's going to be tough. They go down, and they'd be 0-2 in the division as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely rolling with, excuse me. Definitely rolling with Detroit. Jared Goff got to play better. The run game got to get going. But if they do that, they should be able to win this game. We'll see if Caleb improves from his week one. We'll see if Jalen. They also had a lot of corners missing. Jalen Johnson was gone week one against the Vikings.
Yeah.
They were missing, what's his name? Tyler Gordon. They were missing him. So they were missing a lot of DBs. So we'll see if they're back. But yeah, I'm rolling with the Lions. I think it's a must win. Next game. This one should be pretty interesting. Seahawks at Steelers.
Ooh, it's a good one. It's a defensive battle for sure. I think it's going to come down if Sam Darnold is on one. If Sam Darnold's on one, I think it should be a good game. But ultimately, I think I got the Steelers on this one. Aaron Rodgers looked really good week one, and I think it's going to be the Aaron Rodgers show again.
I'm also rolling with the Steelers. I'm just not the biggest fan in the Seahawks in their team. I don't think Mike McDonald trusts I don't think he trusts Sam Darnold yet. When I was watching week one against the Niners, they were very conservative. They didn't really want to unleash and throw the ball too much. And rightfully so. I think their game plan should be run first, pass second, run the ball instead of play action. And I just think against that defense, I think the Steelers going into week two, I think they're going to be better than they were week one against the Jets. I think when it's all said and done, that Steelers defense is going to be a top 5 unit against the run and the pass, but they're usually always good against the run. And so if they can't get Zach Charbonnet and Ken Walker can't get it going, I think it's going to be a tough game for Sam Darnold, especially in Pittsburgh. And I don't think the Seahawks defense is as good as that Steelers defense. So I think it should be easier for Aaron to score than it will be for Sam Darnold to score. So for that reason, I'm taking the Steelers at home over the Seattle Seahawks. They're -2.5. I think that covers as well. I think they'll beat them by a field goal or more. This one, Panthers at Cardinals.
Panthers-Cardinals. It's a battle of the young teams right here. Is it in Arizona?
Yeah, at Cardinals.
You know what? I'm going to go bold here. I'm going to go with the Panthers. The Cardinals, they played the Saints, and it should have been an easier win than, just one score. they struggled a lot, and you know, I think Kyler has to do with a lot of that, and I think Marvin Harrison should be at another level where he's at. I don't
They
think
said Kyler had like stomach problems. Like he had to run to that toilet.
I think Marvin Harrison should be like, we talk highly about Malik Neighbors, and they're in the same draft class. I think we should be talking about Marvin Harrison. I think
He looked good week one.
he did.
He didn't get a lot of balls, but pause. But he looked good.
Yeah, but I think should be on that next level. But I think it just depends on Kyler. But I'm gonna go bold, and I'm gonna go Panthers on this one. I think the Panthers could do some damage here and there this year.
Yeah, Marv had 5 for 71 and a touchdown, so solid week one. I'm rolling with the Cardinals. They're at home. I didn't like what I saw from the Panthers against the Jags. I thought the Jags was an opponent that the Panthers should be able to be in a closer game with and being blown out like they were. Chuba didn't really get going. Bryce Young didn't really get going. The defense couldn't really stop Jacksonville. So I didn't like what I saw. And they're going on the road to play a team that they're definitely talented, especially on offense. And they couldn't stop Trevor Lawrence. And I think Kyler Murray's going to add another dimension with his legs. That's going to be tough for them to stop. So I'm rolling with the Cardinals at home. Next game, we have probably game of the week. I think it is actually the Fox game of the week. Eagles at Chiefs.
Based on what I saw last week, I'm going to go with the Eagles. I mean, the Super Bowl wasn't close. I think this will be a lot closer, but I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one. I just didn't like what I saw from the Chiefs. Granted, I don't know, the Eagles didn't look the same either, but I know it's week one. But I think it should be pretty close. No less than, I think, one score. Or sorry, no more than one score. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one.
Yeah, I think this game is close. I'm going to roll with the Chiefs at home. I think they got to go get this W, man. They got to. As I said earlier, they can't go down 0-2. So I think Chiefs got to go get this one. They are at home.
I just don't think they could stop that run. That's the only thing.
Maybe. I mean, they did pretty good against the run against the Chargers. It was the pass that they couldn't stop. So we'll see. We'll see if they can stop.
Saquon.
That is true. We'll see. They were able to stop the run. Well, in the Super Bowl, they also stopped the run. They couldn't stop the pass. So we'll see what their game plan is going into this one. But yeah, they got to have this game. It's also obviously it's a Super Bowl rematch. So I think the Chiefs lost, and they're playing against the Eagles, who blew them out in the Super Bowl. They should have something to prove. And I thought they'd have something to prove in week one. They came out a little flat. But I am going to take the Chiefs in this one at home. I'm trying to right the wrong of week one.
The Eagles are going to try to get the ball to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith this game too. So that's why.
Well, they better. A.J. Brown not getting the ball until 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter is nonsense. Him not even trying to get him the ball. He didn't have a target until 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I don't think you're going to see that again the rest of the season. They're going to get him the ball early and often. Sunday night, Falcons at Vikings.
So this is an interesting game. I both have two high-powered offenses. I think it could go either way. I don't trust JJ McCarthy just yet. So I'm gonna go with the Falcons on this one. I know they have Desmond Ridder, and a lot of people probably don't have a lot of confidence with him.
They have Michael Penix.
I'm sorry, not Desmond Ridder, Michael Penix. I'm sorry. We're in 2025 now. I'm sorry. I don't know. I like Bijan. Bijan had a great week one. I think he's gonna have a great season. I think he might lead in rushing yards this year. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Falcons on this one. Just by a bit.
I don't think he had many rushing yards in week one.
Yeah, he did.
He had the long.
No, I'm thinking about the long. Yeah. He had a lot of total yards.
I don't think he had. Let's see. What did he have week one rushing? I don't think he had a lot of week one rushing yards. He had 12 carries for 24 yards.
Yeah.
He had 100 yards receiving.
Yeah, he had a lot of total.
Yeah, I think Tyler Algier actually had more yards in that game rushing than Bijan did.
But if the Vikings could clean up those little hiccups, they'll be. I think they'll win, but I think I'm just going to go slightly with the Falcons.
I think I'm going to take the Vikings at home. Bro, JJ McCarthy, as bad as he played through 3 quarters, he balled out in the fourth quarter, and that was on the road. Now he's going to get to be in friendly territory rather than enemy territory. Mm-hmm. So that was a tough start, playing against Chicago, who has a good defense on the road in your first start, and a divisional opponent who knows your offense pretty well. Man, that being your first start ever in the NFL. So I like what he did in the fourth quarter. Now he gets to go home. Still, obviously, the weapons, JJ, got both running backs, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, TJ Hawkinson. This will be the second game without Jordan Addison. They'll get Jordan Addison back soon. We'll see if they get Adam Thielen more involved in this game. I think they're going to get more involved in this game. But I think offensively, defensively, I think they're better on both sides of the ball. And at least they should be. So I'm going to roll with. And I think Brian Flores can do a lot and confuse Michael Penix a little bit with his defensive scheme. So I'm going to take the Vikings at home. We got 2 Monday night games. The first one, Bucks, Texans. Who you taking?
If the Texans play how they played last week, no offense, granted they had great defense. The Bucks juggernaut on offense, and they have a good defense too. I think it's just going to be too much for the Texans at the end of the day. I think it should be at least a score. I don't see the Texans coming out of this one alive.
I want my mind is telling me Bucks, but my heart's leaning Texans for some reason. So I'm gonna take the Texans. They're at home. I think CJ called out his team in the postgame interview. That's either gonna do one of two things. It's either gonna cause them to flounder the rest of the season and they're gonna just be in disarray, that locker room, or they're gonna band together and they're gonna rise to the occasion. I think we'll find out this week at home against the Bucks. I think they're saying Christian Kirk might be back, which is going to help. I'm gonna take the Texans. The Bucks, they pulled out against the Falcons, but they had trouble a lot of that game. And this Texans defense is going to be a lot better than the defense that they played with the Atlanta Falcons. So I think that Bucks offense is going to have to play a little better than they played. Although I think the Bucks defense are probably facing a lesser opponent unless Christian Kirk plays. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Texans at home. They're -2.5. I think that game is probably going to be somewhere. Either team is going to win. I think somewhere in that field goal to maybe 4-point kind of range. But I'm going to roll with the Texans. And then last game of the last Monday night game, another divisional matchup. We have Chargers at Raiders.
It's going to be a tough one. I think it'll be a shootout this game. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think both have solid offenses. And I think Herbert is going to be lights out this year. So I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one. I just don't think the Raiders are going to have enough. They don't have enough on defense to catch up with the Chargers. So I think I'm going to go with that. I think it's going to be high scoring, though, for sure, high scoring.
That last point is where I was going to hit. They have the total over under at 46.5. So so that's about 23 apiece. So they have it a little more of a high scoring kind of game, too. But I just think the Chargers have a defense that can get stops that at a better rate than I think the Raiders can. And I'm gonna leave the better quarterback in Justin Herbert. So I am gonna take the Chargers as well. So those are our week 2 predictions. Drop your week 2 predictions, let them know what y'all think. And that's it. That's a wrap on this week's episode, man. Gettin Buckets episode 15. Make sure y'all tap in, make sure y'all comment, make sure y'all like, drop new ideas, whatever. And me and Marlon will be sure to read them and do them next week and in future weeks for the NFL season. Yep. So we thank Marlon for being on this episode. As I say, he's going to be with us weekly. So appreciate that. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, follow all the social media handles up at the top. Make sure y'all checking in on the YouTube page regularly for shorts, episodes, everything. Make sure y'all tapping in. Other than that, we'll be back for our Sunday recap. That'll drop on Monday mornings. So that'll be the next post in terms of full episodes. Outside of that,
deuces. All right, then, man.